Welcome, beautiful one, to another Magic Monday with myself, Calista, and all the beautiful guides and angels that are here today. There is many. Perhaps you can feel and see that we have beautiful rainbows coming in as well, all around the room. And today's Magic Monday, formerly known as Me Time Monday, but every time I keep these words Magic Monday keep coming out. So let's just call it Magic Monday from now going forward. I wanted to talk about today how we can allow ourselves to continue to grow through accepting others, their choices, their spiritual practice, accepting them as they are, and how through that, which is a practice in and of itself, we better understand them, we better understand ourselves, and we ascend even more. We continue on our path of upward growth, of spiritual enlightenment, whatever that is, reaching that place where we're unbecoming all the stories and conditionings to really be the embodiment of divinity on earth in this lifetime. It's all possible for each and every one of us. It is possible. And if you are new to Magic Monday, say hello. If you're watching this live, streaming live on YouTube, it is the first, it's Monday, the 18th of August, 2025. So many people catch this on the replay. So hi, if you're welcome. If you're watching this on Facebook or Instagram or later on YouTube, welcome, welcome. Let's just take a moment just to drop in, especially if you've been doing other things, scrolling, or perhaps you're arriving to this transmission a little bit stressed, or maybe you've just not taken a conscious breath today. So let's just enjoy that now. If it feels good, closing your eyes and resting your attention on your breath. Sighing out the breath or shaking out the breath, letting go of anything and everything before this now moment, letting it go, as well as any future planning, anything on your mind, any lists, any organizing, just letting it all go. Giving yourself the grace and the gift to be here now, fully present. And the door is open here in Scotland and Perthshire. We are graced by a warm weather today, so you might hear the birds singing outside or the bees buzzing who keep coming into this space where we're recording. And today's transmission is all about accepting what is. So you can just sit and listen if you would like. It's going to be a couple of minutes of just sharing a teaching, some teachings on this, and then we'll go into a meditation. So today's topic has been inspired by a lot of different things that have happened over the last couple of weeks. So it is August, as I said, kids have been off school. I've not been working to look after them. We've had lots of days out, but there has been the odd moment where I've had some time to myself. Very grateful for that. And one of those days, I took myself up north to enjoy a Mayan, traditional Mayan ceremony, working with somatic healing and practices, as well as Olympia, cleansing ritual, and cacao. And we were sitting under this beautiful big horse chestnut tree, which created this natural canopy. And there was literally one little opening between the leaves and the branches to come into this very much like a tree temple. It was beautiful, and I really enjoyed uh, myself that day, met some wonderful people. And there was one lady that I met And after our interaction that day, I was really triggered by our interaction and I wanted to create a video on it. And of course, whatever I would have said in that video, that was coming from a place of reaction because it's never really the things that happen in our life. It's always our reaction to those things. And so sometimes we literally need to let the reaction, to let the fire calm in order to really take a pause, sit back and really with fresh eyes look at that interaction rather than being triggered by it. So I'll bring you into the story and then we'll share a little bit from that. So we had enjoyed the first part of the ceremony and we came outside to have, and if this beautiful soul's watching, so much love to you. We went outside to have a picnic. Everybody brought some little dishes and we shared a community picnic. But it was just a small group. A lot of people couldn't attend. So the person that was leading the ceremony and her husband, she was away, and it was just myself and two other ladies who had came to the event. They obviously knew each other. And one of the ladies turned and said to me, "Oh, and what do you do?" And I said, "Well, I lead ceremonies too, but today I'm taking a day off and being on the other side, and it's so wonderful." And she said, "What sort of ceremonies do you lead?" And I said, "Well, they're fairly eclectic." And she, with such derision, rolled her eyes and looked at her friend to say, "Oh, you know, this," in her eyes, because she was older than me. And I've seen it before when I used to have a holistic shop in my 20s and 30s. Older women, it seemed to be predominantly just older women would come in and they would often look down through their perspective at me and think and say sometimes, who are you to lead these ceremonies and these courses and create these modalities? You're so young. And again, it was from their judgment, it was from their perspective. And so she rolled her eyes to her friend. Then she said to me, "Oh, so you're new age." And I went, "I wouldn't say I'm new age," feeling her energy. So I'm just eclectic. I just follow my dharma. And she said, "So you follow the Buddhism path?" And I'm like, "I'm not a Buddhist." I said, "I take my teachings wherever I can take them. I'm very diverse, very eclectic that way. I'm not assigned to any particular path." And she said, "Oh, you know." And from her perspective, her path that she's on, it's very much about, the teachings come, wisdom comes only when you reach a state of becoming a grandmother, and I get that and I totally understand that and I have so much respect. But the way that she very much judged me from choosing the path that I have chosen, or the path that has chosen me, there was so much judgment there. And I found myself triggered. And I found that when we finished our picnic and went into the second part of the ceremony, I couldn't really enjoy myself. It was just like, wow, like, and it wasn't just those comments, it was other little comments that she kept making towards me. So much projection, so much judgment. And and I took that. And I let it stick to me all the journey home. Couple of hours journey home, it stuck to me, and even the next day. And I thought, I'm gonna create a video about this, but I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I took some time away because this beautiful soul, it doesn't really matter the path that we choose, whether we take teachings from different religions or different from our ancestors, what we've been born into, it doesn't really matter. Only if we are becoming and staying true to ourselves, that's all that matters. If we're continuing to become a better human being every day, as Rumi said, beyond wrongdoings and right doings, there is a field and I'll meet you there. And that's where I will meet you, friend. That's where I come, I meet, and I have many different friends and different paths, very eclectic, from paganism to Druidism to Buddhist, really, staunch Buddhism paths, uh, people that follow Hinduism, that are Sikh, that are Sufism, loads of different traditions. Yet we all accept each other. We all accept each other. And there will come to a point in everybody's path where we have to even give up the path. We've got to give up the practice and realize that that in and of itself is still something that we are attaching to. And so I like to keep myself flexible and open, very eclectic. I'll take the teachings wherever they're there, wherever they're coming in. And as I said in a few videos prior to this one, our spirit guides who really reflect our aspects of our multidimensional self, therefore what we're allowing to come into our field, what we're growing and expanding into, they change on a regular basis if we're open to that. And so I found myself lately being drawn towards uh, saints and babas who were once in body, who are still here now, even though they don't have a physical body, uh, from the path of Hinduism. Am I Hindu? Absolutely not. But do I have respect for those that follow that path? Absolutely. And so this video today is all about, can we continue to rise and ascend and follow the path of enlightenment, whatever that is to you, while accepting each other, while accepting each other's choices and the spiritual path that we're all choosing to take without prejudice, accepting the diversity, just like nature accepts the diversity and absolutely thrives. And over the last few days, all the houseplants here have been repotted, and some of them, I was watering them last week and I was lifting them out of their pots and the roots were growing out of the bottom. I really have neglected a lot of the houseplants for a while. And I said to myself, Audrey, you really are ready to grow. You need a bigger pot. So that's what we did. We repotted all the houseplants. And the reason I'm sharing this is because in the bathroom, I've placed all the different houseplants together and they're all overlapping each other. We've got the dragon tree with the spider plant and the philodendrons, and all of their leaves are just all touching each other because plants love to touch. Plants love to be in community with each other, even though they look different, they feel different, they have a different vibration, they have a different medicine. They all love to touch and be in collaboration and community with each other. And the whole house, the whole environment, the whole temple space, because our home, I think our home should be our temple, a reflection of our divinity, has shifted as their roots are they're being allowed to just grow and expand. I really wanted today's video to focus on that, and this week ahead to focus on how can we allow ourselves to grow and expand through the practice of accepting the diversity that's around us, whether it is the diversity in our spiritual group, in your spiritual community. Maybe you have uh, lots of different friends, brothers and sisters. They focus on different traditions, different religions, rituals, practices, ceremonies. Yet, can you create this coherence and this harmony, or is it focusing more on the diversity of the greater community around you, like the choices that are being made in the political arena, in in your work? How can you bring more acceptance, more cohesion, more love into your reality through accepting others as they are, through their choices, rather than going to that default of reaction or that default of judgment or the default of prejudice. So let's go into a journey, friends, a guided journey inspired very much by the houseplants and nature. And just bring in, the invitation here is to bring in anyone or anything, past or present, or maybe something future that you're worried about that's causing you any sort of suffering, where there is uh where there is judgment, where you're judging them or they're judging you. Bring that in and allow the energy that we're working with today just to detangle and to soften and to bring greater harmony where is needed. Of course, working with a higher self of everybody concerned. We can't change another person. We can't change their viewpoint, and neither do we want to either. And before we go into that journey, I picked a card for our week ahead from the new deck, Celestial Unicorn Tarot. If you haven't got your deck, go out and get it, friends. It's amazing. We will be doing a class soon about this particular tarot deck and how it is a marriage of oracle and tarot and how you can read the cards. The way I've been reading them is, even though I channeled them along with Lisa, is I look at the imagery. The card that came out for this particular week is the Four of Wands. So we're working with the fire unicorns, but it was upside down. So when you look at this card, what does it represent for you? Just listening into your gut, your intuition, your feeling, your sense as you look to this card. So the Four of Wands through the lens of tarot is all about stability, gratitude, working together, collaborating. The sense that I'm getting from the unicorns is all about how can we come together and create something that's just more than what we could create on an individual basis. So again, really much working with our theme about when we love and accept others, when we move from a place of judgment to non-judgment, we actually do create greater community. We create greater intimacy with ourselves, of course, but then as an extension, we create greater intimacy with those around us, with nature, and through that greater communication, greater collaboration, greater community is then inspired. But because it was reversed, okay, what is in resistance to that? Where are you not following your intuition? Where are you ignoring those impulses and those nudges of your inner being to do with community, to do with co-creation, collaborations? Feeling into that. And if that doesn't resonate and you have another meaning from this card, great, trust that too. So we go into this week ahead with the Four of Wands and the light of the fire unicorns. So if you would like to go into this journey and enjoy it now, friends, please join me. And if you can't, save this video and return when you're ready. So beginning to close your eyes if you haven't already. And just taking some soft, deep breaths. That's it. Leaving everything before and anything that will follow. And just staying in the moment, using your breath as a guide. Resting your attention solely on the passage of your breath, on the life cycle of that breath as it comes in and brings life into your being. And then takes with it on the exhale anything and everything you are ready to release. and connected with our theme, what came forward before joining with each other here was the reminder that we are born as humans into this world. But through our journey, we become the being, we become the human being. So our life is our spiritual practice, the greatest spiritual practice that you will ever, if you decide it and embrace it and embody it, that's it. Life can be your sadhana, life can be your practice on your path. And everyone that you meet, whether it is someone that pokes and provokes you, whether it is someone that embraces you and brings you into the warmth of their being, or a stranger, whoever it is, everyone is a teacher. Everyone is a true reflection of you. And so we can take that and we can remember that when we do find ourselves in the midst of an emotional reaction. Allowing that particular person that may have elicited that to just be removed, and instead just take that teaching, take whatever we're feeling in reaction of, and look at it and sit with it and know that that's really the growth. That's our workshop for that particular day or that particular moment. And be excited when we're caught, when we get lost in the ego and we get lost in the fire of our own emotions. Just as much as we find the excitement being in the bliss of a great meditation or an amazing orgasm or lost in laughter with our friends, like just embracing everything. Beyond the duality, there is teachings everywhere. And one of the greatest living beings that we can access, that we all have access to, that reminds us effortlessly all the time, directly and indirectly, is Mother Nature. When we go out into Mother Nature, there is diversity everywhere. And a plant, a particular flower doesn't want to be the grass, and the grass doesn't want to be a tree, and a tree doesn't want to be a bee. The diversity embraces all the colors, all the scents, all the forms, all the frequencies, and there is cohesion, and there is harmony, and there is oneness. And I truly believe that we can embrace this and enjoy this as our reality on Mother Earth right now. It is not living in fantasy. It is not spiritual bypassing. It is a reality if we accept it and allow it, where we can turn on the news and see poverty and war. Even locally out there's a forest right beside me and it's all being cut down. And for a moment I felt so sad. It was, to me, it felt like bodies lying on the ground. And then I realized that tree hasn't really died. It's still there. The roots are there. The ecosystem's still there. And that tree, that trunk will continue to live on in the materials that it will become, in the houses that it will form. That there is really no true death. And so I invite you to bring in what has caused you to react lately. And everything is welcome in this space. So taking a moment to bring it in, whether it's something that you're going through personally, if it's trauma or disease, or you're worrying about a loved one, or you have, maybe it's a recent conflict or a conflict that you see taking place in the world, something that's really tugged at your heart that you really want to support and are inspired to help. Bring it all in. Take a big breath and let it be here. Let it come into the space of your heart. Let it take up room. Let it live and breathe within you. Knowing that it's not up to you to change it, but by bringing it into your heart, you see it, you welcome it, you honor it as it is. And if whatever you're bringing into your heart wishes to change, it will, through your love, through your acceptance. And then when you're ready, imagine yourself in a garden of your own creation, bringing in all your favorite plant species, flowers, wildlife. And imagine right in the center of this garden is a huge oak tree with abundant green leaves, a big, solid, stable trunk. You can feel the roots under your feet that travel deep, wide, and deep down into the earth. And come standing right under the oak tree. And for a moment, perhaps watch the confetti of light as the sunlight dapples through the branches and the leaves, creating little spotlights of sunlight on the grass or the soil that you're standing on. Little dancing lights, little orbs, little fairies all around you. And then imagine, place your hands on the trunk of the tree, feeling its bark, its texture. And maybe you feel cobwebs, or you can see or sense insects, all the little communities that thrive within the trunk of this tree. And feel how the oak tree opens its heart to you, honoring you, welcoming you, like all the different species that this oak tree supports. All the birds, all the insects, all the plants, all the fungi. It opens its heart to you. And take another deep breath in and look up into the canopy of branches above you and the leaves. Just feeling all the networks of the branches, contemplating all the little bugs and the wildlife in all of these little communities. Maybe feeling and sensing the sun and its warmth little columns and shafts of light, caressing your skin, connecting with you. Breathe into the tree, take in the light of the sun and the stability of the earth. Appreciating all of these different ways that the universe, that divine God source is reaching out to you. All these many different forms of God. And knowing yourself too as another form of God. Just being here. Allowing all the diverse forms to be here without wanting to change anything, without wanting to change the structure of the tree or the color of the sunlight or the texture of the soil or the grass under you. And what you brought into this journey, is it possible to accept those people and the situation as it is? Seeing everything as it is. Keeping everything in your heart. And in this moment, you are connected with all life as life itself. And if it's applicable to this situation, if you feel that you could do with an insight or some guidance, just asking for that to come now. What would allow for more growth and more resolve in connection with seeing whatever you've brought in? Letting the knowingness of that come into your being or be shown to you. And if nothing comes, just staying open after this journey. If you can, go out in nature, take a walk, and let her reflect to you what you need to know, the action that you need to take. But for now, bringing your hands to your heart, taking a deep breath in. Moving your fingers and toes. Taking a stretch and opening your eyes when you're ready. And I'll put the timestamps after this video uploads. I'll put the timestamp so you can repeat this journey at any time, but some journal prompts came through for this, and I'll put them in the show notes, or the, not really a show, but you know what I mean, transmission notes. But let's just read them out. Okay. If this was, if you want to go a little bit deeper, you might want to reflect on diversity, especially in regard to what you brought into this journey. So you can write about that particular circumstance or situation, or you can reflect about a time where you encountered someone different from yourself. How did their unique perspective or choices or qualities enrich your life or change your viewpoint? What did you learn from this experience about the value of diversity? And the next one, I think I'll only give you two because they're quite big, okay? Connection with nature. Describe a natural setting that makes you feel at peace, that makes you feel connected. How does this environment mirror the concept of acceptance and coexistence? Perhaps that journey that we went on. What lessons can you draw from nature about living harmoniously with others? Maybe it is something as simple and everyday as repotting your houseplants and asking them, Dragon Tree, would you like to sit with this Calentio or this, whatever you've got, Calla Lily, whatever is in your home. Maybe you're realigning your crystals, creating little communities, and obviously asking that about yourself as well. You know, what is ripe and ready to change? How can you allow for greater growth through accepting diversity and embracing wherever you're triggered and reacting, embracing that just as much as something super joyful, something that's pleasure rich. Can, is that even perverse to say that? But can we find pleasure in growth, no matter if that growth feels good in the moment or if it feels bad? Can we go past that duality and just embrace growth wherever it is, wherever we're getting it from, and know that that's our spiritual practice? That's our spiritual practice. Okay, going to leave you there, friends. I hope you enjoyed today's Magic Monday. I hope you have a wonderful week. We are working with the Four of Wands energy and the Fire Unicorns. It's going to be a great week for action. And I will see you again.